and welcome to this session on tapping of blind holes. It is a process often used to produce internal threads. Let us begin with the session.
Let us look at the objectives of this session. At the end of this session, you will be able to define tapping, chamfer holes for tapping, fix the job in a bench-wise, select the tap set, cut internal threads in drilled holes using hand taps and tap wrench. Let us learn about tapping. Tapping is the process of cutting a thread inside a hole so that a cap screw or bolt can be fastened into the hole. Tapping can be done manually or also by using machine tools. There are three types of hand taps in a set. They are first tap or taper tap, which is meant to start the thread, second tap or plug, final or bottoming tap, which is meant to finish the threads. For cutting internal threads, it is necessary to determine the drill size of the hole. Drill the hole to the required tap drill size. Do not forget to give the chamfer required for aligning and starting the tap. A screw pitch gauge is used to determine the pitch of a thread. It is also used to compare the profile of threads. Pitch. Let us now understand what pitch is. Pitch is the distance from a point on one thread to a corresponding point on the adjacent thread measured parallel to the axis. Now, let us learn the procedure for tapping through blind holes. Tapping through blind holes involves three main steps. Step 1. Preparing the workpiece. Step 2. Tapping holes. Step 3. Checking and evaluating the workpiece. Let us look at each of these in detail. Let's go through the preparation stage. First, determine the tapping drill size using the table for tapping drill sizes or by calculation. For example, drill size of M12 and pitch of 1.5 mm is drill size equals size of thread minus pitch of thread, which equals 12 minus 1.5. So the drill size is 10.5 mm. Drill a blind hole using the depth stop arrangement. The depth of the drilled hole for tapping should be slightly more than the depth of the required thread. Remove metal chips, if any, from the blind hole by turning it upside down and slightly tapping it on a wooden surface. Let's move on to the tapping stage. Hold the work firmly and horizontally in the vise. Drill the hole to the required tap drill size. Fix the M12 first tap in tap wrench. Screw a matching nut on the first tap to the required distance of 14 mm to act as a depth stop arrangement. Exert steady downward pressure and turn the tap wrench slowly in a clockwise direction to start the thread. Check and make sure that the tap is vertical using a tri-square. After the tap is positioned vertically, turn the wrench lightly by holding the ends of the wrench handles without exerting any downward pressure. Continue cutting the thread. Turn backwards frequently, about quarter of a turn, to break the chip. Cut internal thread in blind hole to the required depth 14 mm. Remove the metal chips, if any, from the threaded blind hole using a flattened and bent wire. Similarly, fix M12 second or intermediate tap and final or bottoming tap in tap wrench one by one and cut the thread to form full thread. Clean the threaded hole without burrs. Repeat the above process to cut internal thread in the other drilled blind hole. Now let us move on to checking and evaluating stage. Check the threaded hole using the matching bolts by screwing. Apply thin coat of oil and preserve it for evaluation. Let's learn the precautions to be taken while tapping. Use a cutting lubricant. Do not have too much depth of cut at one time as it may spoil the threads and also spoil the taps. Clean the tap frequently to prevent the chips from clogging and spoiling the thread.
To recap, we have learned to define tapping, chamfer holes for tapping, fix the job in bench-wise, select the tap set, cut internal threads in drilled holes using hand taps and tap wrench. So that's all about tapping of blind holes. Hope you have understood all the concepts and exercises. See you in the next session.